All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a fun one. We're going to do a shootout today. We're going to do our three main bikes. Just going to do the fourth bike today. Unfortunately, I had a flat on this one to start the day, so it slowed me down a little bit. I have some time constraints. My wife and I wedding anniversary yesterday. We're going out to Boston for dinner tonight and to go see a show, so I don't have all day, unfortunately. I got to take care of this. I also got to get the Mustang out for a drive because I haven't in a little bit, so I got to get a little bit of miles on that just to keep the battery fresh. But we're going to do a quick check-in today. We're going to do all three bikes. We're going to do the same loop, 12.5 miles. We're going to time each one of them. We're going to track calorie burn. I'll talk about how I feel at the end of the ride, how the comfort of the ride was. So we're doing our Trek Marlin 7. This is the 2022 model. We're doing our Trek Domani AL3. This is the rim brake model. This is from 2019. And we're going to do our Aventon Pace 500. This is the 2021 model. So we have three fairly new models of bikes you can get. You can still buy that Trek. The newest version would be the Trek with the disc brakes. That would cost you about $1,500. The Marlin's about $1,000. This is about $1,500. So a really good comparison from a price standpoint too. All bikes are fairly equal from a price range. So I'm really curious, and we're going to try to make this as fair as possible. So we're going to hit the mountain bike first because that's going to be the most taxing on our legs. The road bike next, and then obviously we have the e-bike with some of that pedal assist. I'm not going to use the throttle on the e-bike. I am going to use pedal assist. Try not to go above a 3, maybe a 4 on a couple of the bigger hills. And I'll be very curious to see. We're going to track time. We're going to track calories burned, and then I'll talk about how I feel after each bike, after each ride. So I'm looking forward to sharing all these with you. We'll be back in just a little bit. It's going to be an awesome, fun day. Talk to you soon. All right, everybody. So my Fitbit decided that it does not want to track today. So it's 10:43. I will tell you what I'm at for time when I get home. So I'm probably not going to be able to get you calorie burn today on this ride, but I will get you time. At least how we do on the three different bikes. And just getting out of the Marlin 7 so far for the first ride here. And I sorry there's a lot of wind noise today again. I keep feel like every day I go for a ride I fight headwinds. Really comfortable. Geometry's good. The 1x10 is easy to navigate through. I got up a hill already. I did lock my front shock, so there's not so much dive on the road. I mean, that's one of the things you want to try to avoid. You know, it's great on the trail, but one of the things that kills you on a mountain bike, and one of the reasons I want to upgrade to this, is the you know, the dive you have in the front when you ride on the road. And sometimes I will ride trails or ride the road to the trails. So this is good to have that ability. I love the disc brakes that Trek has put on their bikes. It is awesome. And so far so good. I'll tell you the only thing that's weird so far on the 7 versus the 5 is the 5 had those comfort grips. These are a little smaller. They don't feel quite as comfortable, so that's probably the biggest thing so far. But as far as the ride so far, it feels really nice. Bike's nice and smooth, comfortable for a big bike. You know, I didn't put the weight on here before, but it's 29 pounds, or just under 30 pounds, so roughly 9 pounds heavier than my road bike, but a full 18 pounds lighter than the e-bike, so that'll be interesting too. And in a second I'm going to go up a hill here. I don't know if I'll share that with you, but I'll kind of hit you on the other side. I'll try to share the hill up by Adam's farm. That's always one of the most challenging hills I have, so not a whole lot to show you in the next little bit. I'm going to shut the camera off and I'll come back in just a little bit and we'll give you our next impression as we come up to the next big hill. All right, guys, so this will be our first big challenge on this bike, is this hill, which is one of the toughest hills we have. I typically get out of the seat. Today I decided I wanted to try to stay in the saddle for all these hills if I can. So let me see how we do here. It's not the steepest hill, just long. So like I said, with the lower sprocket, or the smallest sprocket in the front, haven't had a tough time finding a gear yet. Even this doesn't feel too bad as I'm going. I mean, it's relatively easy. Oh, this is nice too. The sun has broke through the clouds and I don't have any wind right now. This is much nicer. I feel a little chilly so far, even though it's in the 60s. We've got some like 25 mile-an-hour winds, so that's been a little tough. But yeah, honestly, I haven't got out of the saddle. It's relatively easy. Not too bad. Again, I like the feel and the geometry on the bike. So far, so good. If I wasn't doing the 3-bike challenge today, I'd probably take this off-road to Adam's farm and see how it does. We'll do that soon enough. We've got all of May, June, July, August, September, and October to get a bunch of outdoor rides and I want to break the bike in the right way. I don't want to warp the discs or anything, so this is a good first break-in ride, but so far so good. I would say, I don't have to look at the specs afterwards. With a different drivetrain, I think this bike is 2 to 3 pounds lighter than the Marlin 5, and it really does feel it. It feels much more maneuverable. I don't feel like I'm pulling as much weight up the hill. Now, in fairness, from when I was riding that Marlin, I'm carrying an extra 10 to 15 pounds, so the fact that the bike doesn't feel that is a huge kudos to the bike, because I am carrying that extra weight. So we'll hit this downhill, and then we'll shut the video off for a bit. We'll come back as we're getting close to home, and I'll give you my final impression. What's funny on this drivetrain is already I can feel that I'm running out of gearing to get more speed on the downhill. So I'm already pedaling, the pedals are completely loose. So this is the one that I can tell you I'm going to lose some speed because I can't get a little faster. So I'd probably guess I'm going 25 to 28, where on my road bike or even a heavier Marlin, I could get up over 30, I think. I know on the road bike I can. The Marlin, I don't know if we ever got to 30, but definitely felt like it was a little faster in the downhills, which makes sense with that different gearing. I can't add any assistance into it because we're going faster than what the gearing allows. So interesting. So that'll be an interesting challenge as we do some of the downhills going forward in the future. So I'll be back with you in just a few. All right, everybody, we're coming up to the end of the ride here. We're heading out back to our street. We're probably 10 minutes away from home. You know, I'll give you my final impression when I get home on the bike, but really liked it. You know, I didn't have to get out of the seat to go to any hills. The bike felt relatively light for a big bike. This is the medium large frame size, which you can get the 29-inch tires on. If you go the small, yeah, you can only go 20. All right, guys, first rides in the book with the Marlin 7. Really like the bike a lot. We did just under 13 miles. It took us just about an hour even. You know, so pace was pretty good. You know, I'm going to tell you, if I would rate this out of 10, I'd probably give it an 8. And, you know, here's the big thing for me. There's a couple of really good things. Love the disc brakes. I think they work incredibly well. Tires are really comfortable. The ability to lock out this shock is awesome. And again, that stability, you can unlock it. But when you lock and you ride on the road, it was great. You see the small sprocket in the front. So this gear set's great. And again, these are all Shimano gear sets. All my bikes have Shimano. Just different levels of the gear sets that you have. I would tell you that, again, a lot of positive stuff, really good riding geometry. Bike was pretty comfortable. The grips, like I said, I had the comfort grips on my old one, which extended a little bit. They felt a little better on my hands. I think this will be a little better on the off-road. I think the stability is really good on this. Like I said, this bike moves really well for a large bike. It feels just really comfortable. I feel super secure in the road. I felt like I had plenty of speed. Like I said in the video, there's one little piece that's a little weird. There's probably a gap on certain hills where I wish there was maybe one more gear between the lowest gear or the highest gear and the next gear down, so I had a little bit more ability to, you know, on the hills to get after it. But I never had to get out of the seat. Felt super comfortable, so I would say this bike was awesome. And now I look forward to sharing the other two bikes with you. You've seen the Domani before. We'll go back and do that one in a second, and we're going to do our AL3 for our same just under 13-mile loop. See what we get for a time frame. We started at 10:43. We got back in at just about 11:43, so just about an hour on this bike. Really loved it. Awesome ride. Now on to the Domani, and we'll give you a great comparison. We'll be back in just a minute. All right, guys, you've seen me ride this bike a few times on the channel. I'm not going to go too deep into it. 2019 Trek Domani AL3, aluminum frame, upgraded brakes, upgraded tires, stock gear set, race face pedals. You know, this bike I get a pretty good speed on typically. I'm very much looking forward to get out and sharing this with you. You know, I really do like the geometry, the comfort of this bike. It's actually a heck of a lot of fun, so we'll come back and share this one with you in just a minute as we go through, and absolutely hope to crush this. I'm expecting, you know, I got really lucky on the Marlin because I didn't hit traffic in a couple spots that usually slow me down significantly. So if I have the same on this, I would expect somewhere in the 50 to 55 minute range, so probably 4 to 5 minutes faster than what we did on the Marlin 7. And then we'll come back and we'll take the e-bike out, and we'll talk about this bike a little bit when we're on the road. So we're on the Domani. Nice easy ride. The biggest thing right away for me It's just, again, the feeling of the bike is completely different. A lot smaller, a lot lighter, a lot more agile. Even though I have rim brakes, I really like the rim brakes on this bike. They do a nice job. They're not nearly as good as the disc brakes, but they're still very good rim brakes. They do a really good job of keeping this bike under control. You know, the biggest thing you'll notice is there's just the difference in your hands as soon as you start riding the road bike versus the mountain bike. And obviously the mountain bike, you want the wider handlebars when you're going up and down trails because you need the better stability. But man, the feeling on a road bike is just so different. Like it's like driving my truck to driving my old Corvette. It's just a night and day difference. I said that years ago when I did one of my first comparison videos of the old multi-track Trek versus the road bike, but it really stays true today. Like, it's just a world of difference. You know, one of the things I noticed on that mountain bike that I really liked though is I did like the gear set. That 1x10 was really good. This is a 2x9, and it's still really good. It's just, that felt great. I feel like, you know, on this bike, even here, I feel like sometimes I get a little lost looking for a gear, where on that other bike I didn't. I thought it was really easy. I was able to stay seated, and I find on the road bike, I'm out of the seat quite a bit. I just feel like I'm able to get more power out of the seat than I am in the seat in the road bike. So it is a bit of a different feeling, but not bad. Like on this, once you get going, it's so much faster, and I can feel it already. I mean, you know, just even getting started, it's a world of difference. So I'm not going to shoot a ton of footage on this bike because y'all have seen me ride this a lot of times. What I am going to do though is I will get you a time on the difference on what it took me on these couple of rides versus the other ride, and then I'll give you, my last thoughts on here. But again, I don't think it'll be a ton because I've done this bike many times with you guys, so I'll come back and share that with you. And then what I'm going to do, which will be fun, is we'll jump on the e-bike and we'll do that same loop and give you what that last thing looks like. Man, what is kicking my butt today is these headwinds are tough. 25-mile-an-hour headwinds are no joke. So we'll be back with you in just a couple minutes. Alright everybody, so we're heading on the home stretch and our second ride here. We're on a pretty good pace. We're probably going to finish the 13 or 12 and a half miles in about 54, 55 minutes, so 3 or 4 minutes faster than the Marlin. You know, the big thing on this bike that we talked about, 21 pounds, 2x9 gear, drive set, or group set, excuse me. So the big thing I would tell you for me between the two bikes so far is, like, that mountain bike is awesome. I actually think it's a really competent bike on the road. It's really comfortable, easy to ride. The difference is on this though, it's just like how quickly the inputs come in with, you know, the drop bars. You can dodge obstacles. You can turn really fast. So there's some really cool stuff that I really love on the road bike. And as I was thinking about the two, like for right now, like I would 100% take the Marlin out for a 12 to 15 mile ride. I probably would never take it for a half century or century ride unless I was doing it as part of a challenge, something I wanted to try to see if I could do. But just like getting up on a Saturday on a really nice day, you know, maybe a month from now when it's 10 degrees warmer and not so windy, and just say, hey, I want to go do 50 or 75 or 100 miles, I would never take that bike for that ride. 100% I would do this bike. It's light, it's agile, it's comfortable, and even today where I screwed up with not fixing my seat in a bad ride position, it still isn't terrible. I love the hand placement of the drop bars, so much better. This is just, you know, my hands don't hurt. Where after that ride on the last bike, you know, probably the most sore thing I had was my hands and my butt, if I'm being honest. When I ride on the Peloton, I do mainly out of the seat rides, like hill climbing rides. So I haven't had a lot of seat time in right now, and my butt's a little sore. But yeah, I love the feel of this bike, love the geometry, love the speed, love the nimbleness. Everything about this bike I am a giant fan of, and I would ride this on a long distance ride anytime, no hesitation. Sorry I'm being a jackass here. I gotta turn into my street here. This can be a tough street, so if I see the light change like I did there, I will switch over and get on the sidewalk. I try not to be that guy and not ride the right way, but it just made sense for that. So yeah, got on the road at 11:50. It's now 12:46. So 56 minutes. We were about 59 to 60 minutes on the last ride. So kind of where I thought we would be. Worked really well, really good ride. We're gonna go jump on the Pace Aventon Pace 500 and go do the same loop and see how it feels doing the e-bike ride versus the other two. So, all right, I'll be back with you in just a minute. All right, everybody, last ride of the day, Aventon Pace 500, 500 watt motor, 28 mile an hour top speed. We're gonna stay at a pedal assist of 3 for the whole ride. We're just gonna leave it there, see how we do. We finished at 56 minutes on the road bike, 59 minutes to an hour on the mountain bike. The last time I rode this road, it was like 46 minutes, so it was pretty quick. I expect it'll be pretty similar on here today, and I'll come back and I'll give you kind of my overall take on how all the different rides went, how I felt about them, and you know, maybe make a recommendation on, you know, the right bike, what you like, all that kind of cool stuff. So I'll be back with you in just a minute. All right, guys, we're on the e-bike, riding at a level 3. You can see how fast we're going already. I'm gonna take this turn to take this hill in a second. And that's gonna be so friggin' easy compared to the other 2 rides. Like, I just slow down to get to the street, and then once I get on here, the bike just does all the work. Pedal 3 level and above, you really feel it. Like, the assistance is pretty significant. I'm doing 13 miles an hour, and I'm just sitting on the bike. So I'm gonna go through and I'll show you a little bit as this goes along. I'll come back and share with you. This might be a little more wind noise, plus we get a little wind noise from the electric motor. But yeah, I'll come back and share with you in just a minute on some of the other stuff from the bike that we really like. So talk to you in a few. All right, everybody, now that we're done, let's talk about these 3 bikes, right? So let's talk about what I like about all 3. Again, so if we're looking at the 3 bikes, 1x10 Marlin 7, Marlin 7 1x10 drivetrain, full suspension, 29-inch tires, disc brakes, hydraulic disc brakes, about $1,100. This is the 2022 model. The Trek Domani AL3, so this is an aluminum frame bike, 2x9 group set, also Shimano. This is the Sora group set. I believe this one is the Dior. So we have the Sora, the Dior, all 3 use Shimano. This, I believe, is this is the Alta. So you have different versions of Shimano's group sets, and again, higher quality as we go through. So each of the bikes has a really good group set. And again, this is a 1x8, 1x10 on the Marlin 7, and then on the Domani, it's a 2x9. So my impressions on this after today. So if I had between $1,000 and $1,500 to spend on a bike, so this one right now today, this is the brand new 2022 model. This will cost you about $1,100. This is the 2019. To get the equivalent 2022 model, you're between $1,400 and $1,500. There is an upgrade in the new model, slightly better geometry, and you also do get the hydraulic disc brakes also in the new Domani. The Pace 500, this is the Aventon Ebike. This is the 2021 model. The 2022 model is out. The main difference on the 2 is an integrated battery into the frame, so it looks a little more seamless. I gotta be honest with you, I bought the 2021. I actually like the detachable battery. I like the convenience and the ease of it. So let's talk about the 3 bikes. So here's the deal. As I look at these bikes, I think about it a couple different ways. If I could only have one of the 3 bikes, so if I could only own one, I am torn between the Domani for the longer distance rides or the Marlin 7. I think I would go with the Marlin 7. For one reason, I think while I wouldn't do as many long distance rides, I love the ability to go off-road. It's a super comfortable on-road bike. It's just a good all-around bike, and it was way better than I thought it would be on the road. So I would give it a lot of credit. I really liked this bike. Slightly, I would give it the edge over this for if I were buying one bike. With that being said, there's distinct advantages of all 3. This bike right here, this makes me want to go out and ride 50 to 100 miles. It's just super comfortable. It's a great bike, easy to ride. It's smooth. And again, even like the same thing with the Aventon, you know, they're both solid frame bikes. There's no suspension on them. This just feels, even with the bigger tire, this feels rougher over some of those big bumps that we were on. I didn't feel as comfortable as I did even on this bike. This bike, for however Trek did it, just has an amazing ride. It's incredibly comfortable. You can just ride it for hours and feel great on it. So I love that bike, and I will do some more long distance rides on that. This is just the most fun. Like, the reality is, this is the most fun bike. If you're looking for a bike to get some exercise, and you want to be able to commute, this is the bike to go with. It's comfortable, it's easy to ride, the seat's comfortable, it's easy to navigate, the computer works well, it's a great, we saw some different stuff on there speed-wise. It's just a really, really fun bike. Here's the thing on this bike. When you're not using the E part of it, the assistance part, it sucks. It's slow, it's heavy. This bike is every bit of just under 50 pounds, so it's 48 pounds. It feels way more than 20 pounds heavier than that bike, and way more than 30 pounds heavier than this bike. I mean, it is just a huge difference in the weight and the feeling on the bike. So all three bikes are awesome. Again, I would recommend all three. You know, we just did 40 miles, thereabouts. I feel great. All three bikes were awesome. You know, all on the road. You know, it's just, they're definitely a lot of fun. But again, commuter, absolutely recommended. The ability to get to 0 to 25 in, you know, 3 or 4 seconds. Stay up with traffic, not have to worry about it. Awesome. This bike right here is beautiful. Super comfortable. Awesome off-road. I'm looking forward to using that different drivetrain with that smaller sprocket on actually the hills this year. It's gonna be a ton of fun. And this is my old standby. I've ridden this bike for years now. This is my 3rd season riding the bike. Absolutely love it. I can't wait to get out and put some more miles on it. This is the bike if I want to get a good exercise in, I ride this bike. If I want to have some fun off-road, I'm going to ride this bike. And then just on a nice sunny day like this where I just want to go out. This last ride, I mean, I had already done, what, 26, 27 miles, and I went out and rode this. I'm not even sweating. I don't feel tired. I'm not out of breath. But I get, you know, still when I was tracking this with my Fitbit, which is giving me a hard time today, I would still get 300 to 400 calories. I'm sorry, 200 to 300 calories in for a burn on a 12 or 13 mile ride. So really, really cool stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for checking out the channel. If you haven't done so far, please hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll chat with everybody really, really soon. Thanks.